The scene begins with a depiction of the barren earth, symbolizing emptiness and lack of life. Genesis 1:11 marks a pivotal moment, the introduction of ordered, self-sustaining life. This verse highlights the transition from barrenness to a world teeming with vegetation. It signifies the divine act of bringing forth life where previously there was none. The creation of plant life establishes the foundation for a flourishing ecosystem. The earth undergoes a transformation as green vegetation begins to emerge. This marks the initial appearance and spread of plant life across the landscape. The sprouting of vegetation signifies the beginning of ecological development. Greenery starts to cover previously barren areas. This process highlights the vital role of plants in transforming environments. The landscape shifts from desolate to vibrant with the introduction of plant life. Genesis 1:11 introduces three distinct categories of vegetation. These categories include general vegetation, encompassing various plant types. The second category is seed-bearing plants, crucial for plant propagation. The third category comprises fruit trees, which yield edible fruits. These three categories highlight the diversity and functionality of plant life. Vegetation is a broad term encompassing all plant life. It includes all green growth on Earth. Vegetation can be further divided into subtypes. Understanding vegetation is key to understanding ecosystems. Seed-bearing plants are a diverse group characterized by their method of reproduction. These plants produce seeds, which contain the embryo of a new plant. Grasses are a common example of seed-bearing plants, often forming extensive ground cover. Grains, such as wheat, rice, and corn, are also seed-bearing and are vital for human consumption. Flowering plants, or angiosperms, represent another major group of seed-bearing plants. The seeds of flowering plants are enclosed within a fruit, aiding in their dispersal. Fruit trees are characterized by their ability to produce fruits. These fruits contain seeds, which are essential for the tree's reproductive cycle. The seeds within the fruit facilitate the propagation of new fruit trees. This seed-bearing characteristic is a defining feature of fruit-producing trees. Plant life exhibits a vast range of diversity across dry land environments. This range extends from simple grasses to complex, highly developed trees. Grasses represent a foundational level of plant life, adapted to various climates. Trees, on the other hand, showcase complex structures and life cycles. The spectrum of plant life demonstrates adaptation to diverse terrestrial conditions. Plant life creates conditions suitable for animal and human life. Plants produce oxygen through photosynthesis, essential for animal respiration. They form the base of the food chain, providing sustenance for herbivores. Plant roots stabilize soil, preventing erosion and maintaining land integrity. The Hebrew term for vegetation encompasses a broader range of organisms than commonly understood. It includes all photosynthetic life forms, not just land plants. This definition extends to algae, which are vital aquatic photosynthetic organisms. It also includes other aquatic plants that perform photosynthesis. Plants exhibit maturity and functional capacity immediately upon creation. This inherent maturity enables plants to fulfill their ecological roles from the outset. One key role is providing sustenance to other organisms within the ecosystem. Mature plants are capable of producing resources like fruits, seeds, and foliage. These resources serve as food sources for various creatures. Thus, plants contribute to the food web from their initial existence. Day 3 signifies the emergence of organic life. The landscape undergoes a transformation into a vibrant, green environment. This transformation marks the start of biological processes. The environment is now conducive to sustaining living organisms. The phrase, according to their kinds, emphasizes the concept of created order and distinctness. It suggests that living organisms were created with inherent boundaries and defined characteristics. This implies a natural limit to variation within each kind. preventing transmutation between fundamentally different groups. The phrase highlights the stability and consistency of created forms, ensuring reproductive fidelity within each kind. Therefore, according to their kinds, underscores the principle of inherent biological diversity and the maintenance of distinct lineages. The creation process establishes distinct and stable types of plants. Each plant type is created with its own unique, inherent pattern. This pattern dictates the plant's characteristics and development. The stability of these types ensures consistent reproduction according to their specific patterns. Each plant species possesses a unique capacity for reproduction. This reproductive capacity ensures the continuation of its specific plant type. Reproduction is vital for maintaining plant biodiversity and ecological balance. The ability to reproduce is a fundamental characteristic of all plant life. The seed in itself refers to an inherent capacity for reproduction within an organism. This capacity is not externally imposed, but is intrinsic to the organism's design. The concept suggests a pre-programmed mechanism for generating offspring. It implies a God-designed system where reproductive potential is embedded. This internal mechanism ensures the continuation of the species. The seed in itself highlights the self-contained nature of reproduction. Plants possess internal mechanisms ensuring the continuation of their lineage. Each plant carries the necessary components for subsequent generations. This involves the storage and transmission of genetic information. Reproductive structures, like seeds or spores, facilitate this process. These structures contain the blueprint for new plant development. This ensures the survival and propagation of the plant species. Order is a foundational principle established in creation. Boundaries define the limits and scope of existence. These principles are designed to prevent chaos. They also serve to limit randomness. Together, order and boundaries provide structure and stability. Biological integrity refers to the ability of an ecosystem to support and maintain a balanced, adaptive community. This integrity is essential for each life form to retain its unique characteristics and functions. Maintaining structural integrity ensures that the physical form and organization of organisms are preserved. Functional integrity ensures that essential processes like metabolism, reproduction, and defense mechanisms are maintained. Preserving both structural and functional integrity is vital for the long-term survival and health of individual organisms and entire ecosystems. Plant reproduction is essential for sustaining life and biodiversity on Earth. The phrase "be fruitful and multiply" highlights the importance of reproduction. This concept connects to a broader divine plan for a world abundant with life. Plant reproduction ensures the continuation of species across generations. It contributes to ecological balance and the support of diverse ecosystems. Thus, plant reproduction aligns with the idea of a divinely ordained, flourishing world. God's spoken word is presented as the catalyst for life and growth on Earth. The Earth brings forth vegetation in direct response to God's command. This demonstrates the inherent power and effectiveness of God's word. The creative act is initiated and sustained by divine utterance. Therefore, God's word is not merely informative, but actively transformative. God's word is presented as a reliable and trustworthy source of life. This divine word possesses the power to bring forth vegetation from the earth. It is emphasized that the origin of life and growth is rooted in God's word. Therefore, God's word is the foundation for all living things. The unfolding of plant life is a process deeply intertwined with Earth's evolving conditions. This development is contingent on the establishment of suitable environmental factors. These factors include appropriate temperature, light, and water availability. As these conditions take shape, plant life progressively emerges and diversifies. Plant life adapts to provide sustenance for other creatures. Plants serve as a primary food source in many ecosystems. Plant structures create habitats for various animal species. Adaptations in plant morphology directly support animal life. This interdependence highlights the crucial role of plants in supporting biodiversity. The narrative lacks any depiction of struggle among divine beings. There is no competition or rivalry presented within the Godhead. This absence contrasts sharply with many pagan mythologies. Pagan myths often feature gods in constant conflict and competition. The text distinguishes itself by omitting such divine discord. A single, sovereign creator is the ultimate authority. This creator issues commands that are absolute and final. All of creation is subject to the creator's will. The obedience of creation demonstrates God's supreme power. Ancient pagan myths often depict life originating from conflict or primordial chaos. This contrasts with the concept of peaceful, purposeful creation. Peaceful creation suggests a deliberate and harmonious origin of life. It implies a creator acting with intention and without struggle. This perspective shifts the focus from strife to intentional design. The contrast highlights different philosophical approaches to understanding existence. Genesis 1:11 carries significant theological implications related to God's role as a provider. The verse highlights God's intentionality in creating vegetation to sustain life. It suggests a divine plan where the earth is designed to yield food and resources. This portrayal reinforces the concept of God as a benevolent and caring creator. The provision of vegetation symbolizes God's commitment to meet the needs of his creation. Therefore, Genesis 1:11 establishes a foundation for understanding God as the ultimate source of sustenance and blessing. God is depicted as a provider, ensuring a continuous food supply. This provision precedes the creation of both animals and humans. The act emphasizes divine foresight and care for future beings. A stable food source is established as a foundational element. This foundation supports the subsequent introduction of life. The narrative highlights God's role in sustaining creation. Human existence depends on resources provided by God. God's provision includes land and plants. God's provision also includes the entire ecological system. Human work and life are built upon this prior and continual provision. An ecological system is defined by the interconnectedness of all living organisms and their environment. Plants form the foundational layer of most ecological systems. They convert sunlight into energy through photosynthesis, creating food. This energy then supports all other life forms within the ecosystem. Therefore, plants are essential for the stability and survival of the entire ecological network. The focus shifts towards the practical applications of the verse. This transition encourages a sense of trust in the verse's message. It also fosters an attitude of gratitude for the benefits it offers. Trust and gratitude are key responses to understanding the verse's real-world impact. These emotions highlight the verse's relevance and value in daily life. Ultimately, this approach aims to connect the verse with tangible outcomes and positive feelings. Every crop represents a part of God's creation. Each tree also signifies God's creation. Every meal is a result of God's sustained creation. Recognizing this fosters trust in God's provision. Acknowledging God's role cultivates gratitude. The act of creation is not a random occurrence. It is not simply a product of natural processes unfolding without direction. Instead, creation is understood as a purposeful and intentional act. This act is attributed to a divine being, specifically God. Therefore, creation reflects divine will and design, not chance. Responsible stewardship calls for humans to actively care for the environment. It emphasizes the importance of protecting God's ordered world. This involves recognizing the inherent value and interconnectedness of all creation. Stewardship promotes sustainable practices to maintain the Earth's fruitfulness. It requires a commitment to preserving resources for future generations. Ultimately, responsible stewardship reflects a deep respect for the divine order. Humans are entrusted to care for the natural order established by God. This stewardship involves protecting and preserving the environment. Exploitation of resources should be replaced with sustainable practices. The goal is to maintain balance and harmony within God's creation. Exploiting the earth can lead to the destruction of natural systems. These systems are essential for maintaining ecological balance and human well-being. Destroying these systems can have negative consequences for all life. Sustainable practices are necessary to avoid these destructive outcomes. It is crucial to maintain the systems established by God. Sustaining these systems ensures continued productivity and positive outcomes. Long-term fruitfulness is dependent on the upkeep of these foundational structures. Neglecting these systems can lead to diminished results and potential failure. Therefore, active maintenance is essential for preserving the intended benefits. Seed germination is the process by which a dormant seed begins to sprout and grow into a seedling. The process begins with imbibition, where the seed absorbs water through its seed coat. Water activates enzymes within the seed, initiating metabolic processes. These enzymes break down stored food reserves, providing energy for growth. The radicle, or embryonic root, emerges first, anchoring the seedling and absorbing water and nutrients. The plumule, or embryonic shoot, then emerges, growing upwards towards sunlight for photosynthesis. Plant growth is an ordered process of development from a seedling to a mature plant. This process involves cell division, elongation, and differentiation. Environmental factors like light, water, and nutrients influence the rate and form of growth. Time-lapse imagery effectively demonstrates the stages and progression of plant development. Pollination is the process by which pollen is transferred from the male part of a flower, anther, to the female part, stigma. This transfer enables fertilization and the production of seeds. Pollination can occur through various agents, including wind, water, insects, and other animals. Successful pollination is essential for plant reproduction and the continuation of plant life. Fruit develops as a result of the plant's reproductive cycle. The primary function of fruit is to protect the seeds within. Seeds are essential for the propagation and continuation of plant species. Fruit aids in seed dispersal through various mechanisms. The seeds inside the fruit carry the genetic material for future plant generations. Plants play a vital role in maintaining ecological balance on Earth. Through photosynthesis, plants convert carbon dioxide into oxygen. This process directly replenishes the atmospheric oxygen necessary for animal respiration. Simultaneously, plants absorb carbon dioxide, a greenhouse gas, from the atmosphere. This absorption helps to mitigate climate change by reducing the concentration of CO2. Therefore, plants are essential for regulating atmospheric composition and supporting life. The food chain is a hierarchical series of organisms, each dependent on the next as a source of food. Plants form the base of the food chain as primary producers. Plants convert sunlight into energy through photosynthesis, creating their own food. Animals and humans consume plants, obtaining energy and nutrients. This consumption transfers energy up the food chain, supporting life at each level. Plants enrich the soil through various natural processes. Decomposition of plant matter is a primary enrichment method. As leaves, stems, and roots decay, they release organic compounds into the soil. These organic compounds improve soil structure and water retention. Plant roots also create pathways for air and water, enhancing soil aeration. Nitrogen-fixing plants convert atmospheric nitrogen into usable forms, increasing soil fertility. Plants are integral to the water cycle. They absorb water from the ground through their roots. This absorbed water is then transported throughout the plant. Plants release water into the atmosphere through transpiration. Plants absorb atmospheric carbon dioxide, CO2, through photosynthesis. The absorbed CO2 is then converted into glucose and other organic compounds. These carbon-containing compounds are used for plant growth and development. The carbon is stored in the plant's biomass, effectively sequestering it from the atmosphere. Plants are fundamental in providing habitats for a wide array of animal species. They offer shelter, nesting sites, and protection from predators. Plants also serve as a primary food source for many herbivores. The structural complexity of plant communities influences the diversity of animal life they can support. Different plant species and growth forms create varied microclimates and niches. This habitat provision is crucial for maintaining balanced and thriving ecosystems. Humans rely on plants as a primary food source, consuming various plant parts like fruits, vegetables, and grains. Many medicines are derived from plants, utilizing their chemical compounds for therapeutic purposes. Plants provide essential raw materials such as wood, fibers, and oils used in construction, textiles, and various industries. Plants also play a critical role in maintaining environmental balance, producing oxygen and absorbing carbon dioxide. Sustainable agricultural practices aim to maintain and improve soil health. These practices focus on minimizing soil erosion and nutrient depletion. Cover cropping is a key method, using plants to protect the soil surface. Crop rotation enhances biodiversity and reduces pest and disease pressure. Reduced tillage minimizes soil disturbance, preserving its structure and organic matter. Understanding God's creation of vegetation is essential. Appreciating the role of plants in the ecosystem is vital. Humans have a significant role in stewarding vegetation. Stewardship involves responsible management and care. This includes protecting plant life for future generations. Recognizing our responsibility ensures a thriving environment.